Okay, so I mean, it's like mental health or men's mental health awareness month or something, right? So I guess I'll talk about it from a perspective of like psychiatric or something, right? Okay, I've been diagnosed with some of this shit. Like my diagnoses that I got when I was younger was um Tourette. They diagnosed me with Tourette syndrome and obsessive compulsive disorder, social anxiety disorder, and ADHD. And I would have panic attacks and freeze up and stuff sometimes, and like I think maybe like general anxiety disorder would be more accurate, you know. But yeah, especially social anxiety. And I think based on what I've heard, like about, I think I probably have like Asperger's or something because when I listen to a lot of people that have like Asperger's, not like full on autism, but like Asperger's, right? Like they tend to think more like I do and like feel more like I do about things, man. I go out, like when I go out, I'm in a parking lot in my car or something sometime. I mean, and all this movement's going on around me. It really freaks me the fuck out, man. It does. Like just walking through a parking lot with these cars moving around and all these people fucking moving around. It's just like, it stresses me the heck out, you know? And like sometimes I don't feel like I can take it, and there's all this weird, crazy stuff going on in the world on top of it. And I haven't had anyone I could really talk to. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe I should go to a psychiatrist. I just feel my issue with psychiatrists is that I feel like their entire philosophy and their entire approach is to dismiss the problem and or your dismiss everything that your experience is what I mean, right? Like everything you experience, everything you feel to them is a psychiatric disorder, not a result of your environment affecting you as it would naturally affect, people, right? I mean, is there really a psychiatric disorder at this point when, like, I mean, can nobody like really admit or whatever that this world is really, 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 really badly screwed up and really off kilter in every fucking conceivable way, pretty much. I mean, look at the evidence, right? War all over the world, madmen running everything, fucking organized like pedo rings and like all the fucking crime and the drugs and all the alcohol and drugs around every corner, don't have to walk far for anything, right? And all the I mean, this place is screwed up. I mean, look at the divorce rate, look at the percentage of people, and especially in the younger age groups, that are perpetually single, the fucking people that call themselves like incels and femcells, all right? It's huge. I mean, I think the divorce rate, like, and the rate of people being single now and stuff like that it's like a complete 180 from what it was back in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, It's like a complete reversal. I don't know the exact numbers, but like let's say it was 10% of people back then or something were single or were divorced or whatever, or that percentage of marriages ended in divorce or whatever, and then like now it would be like 90% and 10% the other way. It's like completely bass backwards. I mean, the environment is way more stressful, and I mean, I went and I was gonna try to go out, to try to make myself go work and try to earn some fucking money, right? And I stopped off, got some energy drinks. I'd taken vitamins, got myself dressed. All the shit you do, and you got to go get ready to go work. And I got to the parking lot of the place to go, and I just see all these offers come in, and I'm just like too stressed, and they were crap. They were all crap. I want me to do like 40-mile round. I don't. Yeah, it just the money that was being offered is not worth it for the amount of gas I'd be pissing away and time I'd be wasting, and the amount of fucking effort that I'd have to put. They like this curbside pickup. Sometimes they load you up with so much shit. It's like ridiculous. Big, heavy, bunch of heavy shit. Just so much. I've ripped my catering bags. I don't know how many times. So many times. Oh, at least maybe I could do it. Maybe I could at least get that done today, and try and go get some. Oh man, I don't even know if the freaking store nearby has it. I don't want to have to drive all the way back across town or something. Oh god. I just need like some carpet thread because you can't sew by hand worth of shit with that shitty cheap thread that they use for almost everything. Which, by the way, is the reason why your clothes rip and get holes in them and your pockets fall apart and your fucking underwear comes unraveled and all this sort of shit. It's because they use that cheap, shitty thread. Try sewing by hand with that, you'd be pulling the fucking thread through it, or it just rips right in half. You're like, oh shit, you know. Anyhow, so yeah, mental health aware. I don't know the other condition. Yeah, like I said, I think I probably have Asperger's. I think if I went to a psychiatrist and got new diagnoses or whatever, they would probably say I had Asperger's and uh, maybe some depersonalization, derealization. Sometimes, yeah, and maybe like manic depressive, probably. Mm-hmm. Maybe schizoaffective, they might say. They might tack on all that shit. Honestly, you know. And like maybe have some other shit too, like you're like, yeah, so here's the thing. I'm pretty sure I'm in a computer simulation, and or that maybe this is hell. I'm not really sure, but I don't feel like I'm really alive here, and that this place is real. Like I don't know. I don't think you're real necessarily. You're probably just some agent of the Matrix, sent here to interrogate me or fucking gather information for the fucking Matrix overlords, man. So I think I'm kind of basically in like a satanic version of the Truman Show here, bud. So what's your diagnosis on that one? But no, like I mean, and nobody fucking understands. I tried talking to my dad. I've talked, and the alcohol thing is a problem. It's just like a symptom. It's me. It's my self medicating or whatever, basically. Well, I mean, some of the problem is just from the alcohol and stuff, but the fucking alcohol, the problems that persist from the alcohol don't just go away quick. I don't know. In my experience in the past, it takes like a good month or a couple months, maybe 3, 4 months or something. But if you start fucking, having a beer every now and then again, then next thing a few weeks go by, a month goes by, and you're right back in the shit, and you just get, the hell is that? Some weird noise. So yeah, anyway, yeah, mental health awareness. I do. I have fucking serious anxiety and like probably. Honestly, I'm sure I have PTSD. Yeah, that I fucking left a big one out. PTSD. Absolutely, absolutely have fucking PTSD and complex trauma and all this sort of shit. Right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, they call it shell shock or whatever. Like, I totally had fucking shell shock, you know? Absolutely. I have seen some shit. I have dealt with some shit, dude. And I gotta be honest, man. I try to tell my dad, like, hey, it takes time, you know? I just need some time. I just need a little time, you know? And no, because honestly, if I could, if I just had, like, you know, a month or two or something even, where I just, you know, I just stocked up on food and water, and I had a, you know, safe place to be where it wasn't all this drama and conflict and all people just, you know, lecturing and yelling at me or like all this crazy shit going on around me and all this commotion, you know, and I could just like have some peace of mind for a couple of months or something. That's a month or two or something. That's about all it would take to get me back in shape, like psychologically, physically, all that. You know, just like, stay away to be, you know, sober and be more, you know, clear headed, and I would probably be ready to go back at it and go try to work some job or some shit, you know. I don't know. It may be a little more complex than that with me because, like, one of my issues, honestly, is just that the way my life has gone, man. I mean, and you try to tell anyone about this shit, and they're just like, "Yeah, suck it up, buttercup. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You just gotta do it," you know. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, that's what I fucking need when I'm coming to you, like with my problems and my worries and stuff. I need someone to like tear me down and bitch at me and try to make me feel worse than I already fucking do, right? Super helpful. Oh, water bottle. That's not a water bottle, that's a Dr. Pepper. Yeah. I didn't unpack this bag yet. I figured, you know, I don't really need to right now. I got ice packs in here. It'll fucking stay fresh for quite a while. Anyways, yeah, the thing is, how do you get that time? How do you get that time and that peace and get away from the bullshit and the drama for it's difficult. Like if you don't have a bunch of money, I mean, if I had money, it would be, you know, fairly simple concept, right? I just go fucking rent some cabin in the woods somewhere and fucking chill out there and, you know, hang out there for a couple of months and without a drop of alcohol and just bring a shitload of like drinking water and, you know, some food with me or whatever. And, or I'd, you know, whatever. Or if I like had a house and some land or something, you know, I just chill at the fucking house and, you know, do some yard work or whatever, you know, mow the grass, grow a garden, and, you know, stay away from all the busyness and the drama. And I mean, God forbid I should be around some like chill fucking people and stuff more, that aren't just like, I mean, that's a lot of what I deal with. It's just, I mean, on the one, there's these people that are just like crazy in your face, scary fucking shit, that's just like super traumatized the shit out of you. And then there's like other people that are just mostly just like completely dismissive. You can't really talk to them because they don't fucking care or whatever, I guess. Or just that's how it feels, or they're just too unconscious to get it, or something. The preconceived notions rule their mind, or whatever it is, cognitive dissonance. The hell is that? It's on the other side of the wall somewhere. Maybe it's just one of the demons in the room bumping into shit or something. You think? So yeah, I went to the bank to deposit money, and I did the math. Adding up what I had in the bank and what I had in my card from doing deliveries that I hadn't deposited yet, and I added the $11 that I had in my pocket up in there. It said 677. So if I didn't take the cash out of my pocket and put it in the bank, then it would have been 666. Probably 66 cents, but I didn't factor in the change, so it wouldn't surprise me at all, because it sure wouldn't be the first time. Mm-hmm. No, not even close, dude. I mean, seriously, I mean, it has been like spiritual, like fucking satanic shit messing with me fucking most of my life, dude. Almost pretty much my whole damn life. Like, especially like now, pretty much more than ever over the last few years, or, the last. Well, it's just because, like, or the last year or year and a half, especially because I have to go out there and be in it. It's been fucking with me for years, but what I did, in years past is would, I would just basically hide in the fucking house, try to stay away from it until it would show up at the door, or, show up out front, or something, And, when I managed to sober up and get my head straight, I would, I would just go shopping, and I would buy, like, enough water and food and stuff, hopefully to last me for like a whole month or something. And I'd just stack a bunch of water in my room, and just chill and try to watch you know, some nice movies, some, you know, old TV shows that were actually good, not filled with evil fucking agendas, like Little House on the Prairie, or uh, Highway to Heaven, uh, your what's that show? Grizzly Adams, just I don't know, just whatever, whatever shows are actually nice and don't have all kinds of dark agendas and crap going on them, And watch some comedy shows, watch whatever, right? And then go outside, have this in the summertime. I have a garden, and that's really therapeutic for me. Just tending to a garden and watching it grow. and watching the wildlife, watching the squirrels and the birds and whatever, right? Well, I mean, I'm cheered up by stuff like that. I'm cheered up by stuff like that. Just by goodness, innocence, kindness, love. You know, decent. Things that are good and not out to get me. Those rare, unicorn type things. The ones that aren't monsters trying to devour me. Like that's a nice change of pace. Cheers me up a bit. On one hand, I feel stupid for, I took off and I didn't go work as I intended to. Tried to push myself, but then I get there and, like, I drank an energy drink. I'd taken, vitamins. I took some ginseng, tried to give myself, energy and clear my head to go do it. But I could just tell, like, I was not in any shape to do it. I'm getting, like, startled at every fucking move. I, I'm not in the right headspace, in the right mood to fucking go do shit at all. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe I should fucking talk to a psychiatrist. At least they get paid to fucking listen, right? So they'll or whatever, so. Or to pretend to care, or, whatever the hell, right? I guess that's what you need nowadays. Can't find love, but you can find a whore. Can't find compassion or someone caring enough to listen, but you can hire a psychiatrist, Can't find true friendship, but you can bribe people to be around you. It kind of seems like that's the world we're in, doesn't it? Can't find true charity necessarily most of the time, but you can find, somebody willing to help you for a price, with condition, that you do this or do that, or, jump through this hoop or that hoop or whatever, I need to clear my head. I don't want to fucking miss out on money, but, like, every offer I saw them send to me, I was sitting there for like an hour or more and I'm looking at these offers and just like crap after crap after crap, trying to send me to like other towns fucking 20 miles away to pick shit up and then drive another 10 miles past that, and then by the time I'd back I'd be like doing 60, 70 miles on the car to make $10 or something, right? Oh yeah, that's a great idea. And if wouldn't even hardly cover my gas, wouldn't even cover my, yeah. And then they're sending me, we're like, I saw a couple offers that were like around $30, but they're like, 40-mile round trips with a bunch of heavy stuff and alcohol delivery and, huge amount of heavy stuff that just would have. And man, honestly, I feel just disoriented and like overly startled. Like, I don't feel in the right headspace to be out there, to be out there driving around or even to be sitting in some goddamn parking lot or walking through a store. Like, I just don't fucking feel up to it. And I need to think. I know I think too much a lot of the time, but I need to get this shit out of my head and like I think like how the hell I'm gonna sell shit to come up with money for in January. I mean, I guess I'm gonna somehow scrape by. I know this month, as far as December goes, you know, and I guess my dad's gonna send me a little bit of help. That'll just, you know, barely, you know. Of course, you know, he doesn't have Cash App or fucking want to deal with Zelle or, you know, any of that sort of shit. So I don't know if the fucking shit's even going to get here in time. We're going to get charged I might end up getting charged some damn late fee or something. And he's waiting to put you know, some check in the mail till tomorrow, which is a Saturday. So the post office is probably like not going to have anyone in it. So he's not going to even be able to fucking, you know, ship it fast or anything because there's not going to be anyone there for him to, you know. So I don't know how long the fucking mail is gonna take coming all the way. You know, it's like 1,400 fucking miles away. But I mean, it could totally potentially show up in time, I guess. In time to be like, you know, Saved by the Bell or whatever. Last fucking minute or something maybe. You know, before my payment's considered late or whatever. Late means, you know, they'll charge more money. Oh man. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way the world works, man. Oh, you don't have enough money? Give us more money. The banks do it. Places renting do it. Everyone does it, you know. Like if you're poor, you know, if you're say you're homeless, you're living in your car, they give you a ticket. They give you a fine, you know. It's like, yeah, I can't afford to eat, but I can certainly afford to pay all these tickets that, you know, for not being able to afford to eat or yeah. It's just fucking that's how fucked the world is, you know. And I'm mentally ill for noticing that, right? For being disturbed by it. And all the other crap in the world. Mental health awareness, you know. These things are fucked up, dude. At least there is such a thing as Men's Mental Health Awareness Month or some shit, but I mean, that'd be a first. Anyone like fucking pretending to give a shit about men's mental health. Everybody's like, you know, offing themselves. Well, I mean, what do you expect, dude? If a guy gets married, has kids, whatever, or just is married to some chick for a little while, she just decides to leave his ass for the mailman or something, then she gets half his money, you know, and all his shit, and he's got an alimony and child support and all this other shit. He can't afford to fucking eat or live, let alone pay this shit off, you know? You know? Men are the majority in all the fucking most dangerous jobs, you know, ice fishing, you know, I mean, you know, Alaskan fishermen, you know, out on the fucking treacherous seas, and like ice truckers, and, you know, war, you know, in the military, and fucking all the jobs where they're getting shot at and blown up and stuff, you know. Bunch of dudes, you know. Bunch of dudes like climbing high-rise buildings, trying to move giant fucking metal beams around, you know. Bunch of dudes like washing windows fucking 30 stories up in the air, you know. Climbing fucking telephone poles to dick around with the electrical lines, you know. Sawing up fucking, you know, using chainsaws to cut trees up, and, you know, logging, having trees fall on, you know. You can, right? And then everybody just treats you like you're Dog shit, fucking. I mean, what do they say when a woman has a problem? Poor baby. How can we help you? You know? Or when a foreigner has a problem for that matter, right? Poor baby, how can we help you, right? And when someone in your own fucking country it's a man or something. It's just, suck it up, buttercup. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Oh, you got problems? You think you got a problem? You're just being fucking lazy. You're worthless. You suck. You're garbage, right? You're just fucking treated like shit, by the whole fucking fabric of society, right? By your fucking own parents, everyone. You're a dude, like, it's just, especially a single dude, right? You're just like screwed, like you're just treated like shit. It's like none of your problems matter, and when you have and let's say the psychiatric disorders that I'm dealing with or whatever, just for the sake of argument, right? Well then, since we're talking about mental health awareness or whatever, right? Having these type of problems, man, it's like, especially like as some, I think I've got like Asperger's syndrome stacked along with a bunch of other stuff, right? So for me, it feels like, honestly, like I feel like I have the capacity, I have intelligence and enough physical potential, at least somewhat capability now, but like to where I could be pretty high functioning and stuff if I was able to just like get my head straight and like get out of the fucking crazy drama and shit, all the fucking crazy disorderly chaos and I mean, literally, if I could afford to, man, I would be agoraphobic. I wouldn't fucking go anywhere. Like, fuck that, dude. Like, if I had a house and some land or something, I just have fucking people like truck in a bunch of and if I had like money, I'd have a big tall fence around my property, a fucking gate, like stay the fuck out, except for the delivery guys, and I'd just have fucking a bunch of like, I'd stock up like enough drinking water, in like the pole barn or shed or something to be able to last like years worth of drinking water, bottled water or whatever, and like as much food as I could possibly stock up and other supplies, have all whole closets filled with like toilet paper and paper towels and all that sort of shit, and cleaning, like everything, cleaning supplies. I'd just be like, I'd have like a garden, and I would just fucking stay there, for the most part, at least for a while. Maybe if I could do that for like a month or two or something, like maybe I would get antsy and actually want to go out into the world again or something. But I mean, the world sucks, and I don't I don't like it, and I don't want to deal with it. The outside world is like, no, get away from me, I feel like I'm being violated every time I go out into it, and every time I have to talk to these like uncaring fucking cold people, like my dad, man, he just doesn't get me at all. He's so fucking nasty, like mean. Like when I try to, like I'll try to pour my heart out to him about how I'm feeling and stuff I'm dealing with, and like, and even like try to make logical arguments as to like how I can like straighten myself, and he'll just like get mad at me and say some fucking asshole shit to me or whatever, right? Just like, oh god, he'll just like insult me and like cut me apart, with Well, like I've probably mentioned rehab to him, like the idea of going to rehab or something. But I've also said that, if I could just had some time, like just a month or two or whatever, even to like just be in a more chill environment without all the stress and stuff, I could decompress and be okay. Just vent everything out like this and just, have some time of, peace and chill, just for long enough to like decompress and get all this shit out, then I could go out there and do. Yeah, I mean, like, I was going fine there for like, I don't know how many. I mean, I was stressed out even before, but I mean, I was not as fucking stressed out before I started having to go out like all the time, so often. It's just having to be out there in the world, and things are fucking crazy, dude. I don't know, like the kind of stuff I deal with it's totally common. Like if I park my car facing one direction on the road, and I'm not wanting to go that direction, and I have to turn around to this road right ahead, to back up and facing the other way. I don't even feel that comfortable doing it because there's a house there where these guys, the dudes that assaulted me, and those fuckers are, and they're fucking crazy and like tweaked out and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, I'm pulling over here with these fucking tweakers, right? I, dude, I remember like one time, and this sort of shit's happened numerous times, dude. I go out to my car just to go work, and there's like like fucking fight breaking out. People shouting at each other like, "What, motherfucker? Fuck you say? You fuck get back here, bitch! I'll fucking kick your ass!" Just people screaming, and they're like right in front of my car, and I'm just like, oh shit. I'm just like trying to like stay out of it, ignore it, like act like it, and just walk to my car and just like get in the car, try to start it up, and try to wait for a fucking opportunity to be able to drive around them and get the fuck out of there, before they start knocking the crap out of each other. Whether they were gonna fucking drag me into it or some shit. And this stuff happened like the other times I go out and there's some guy fucking just shouting, and I mean this has happened numerous times. I remember when I moved into my first so-called apartment. It's like a shitty basement room with tweakers below, and it's like it's the second I freaking pull up there to start trying to get stuff in there. First thing, there's no place to park. I get out of the car, and there's some like jacked psycho tweaker with a shaved head and his shirt off, and he's like shouting and having fucking like two-way conversation with the invisible man or some shit, right? He's just screaming and cussing, motherfucker, you want to fucking just screaming and fight like with nobody there, and I'm like shit, and I just try to like act like just act natural, watch. I try not to look at him because I don't want him to start fucking, come after me, fucking act all psycho and shit, right? I just try to like, look at reflections in the windows and mirrors and stuff to see like if this guy's kind of coming up behind me or some shit. To go up to, right? But I mean, like I was dealing with that stuff even. This is like a couple of years ago. I mean, this has been going on for years, dude. Just people. I was at the parking lot in fucking Walmart thinking about stuff and like looking at offers, and there's some guy like shouting and with a like a walking a pit bull, some tweaker or something, just screaming at somebody across the parking lot, like trying to chase down somebody. I don't know what this is happening like right off to the side, right behind me, like shit. But this is like totally commonplace for me, like just like Jesus Christ. I don't don't know, man. I've just had too much, like, prolonged stress. And, you know, anxiety-inducing fucking crazy shit has been going on consistently for too long. And I haven't ever had a long enough period of time to get the hell away from it, to decompress, to be able to go put up with it for a longer extended period of time without fucking cracking, you know? That's my problem. But try explaining that to anyone, and they'll just be like, "You're just fucking worthless and lazy, useless fucking piece of shit!" Ah! You know, more fucking shit coming at me. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I've just had too much stress and like drama, too much like negative shit flying at me, you know. And I try to talk to like my dad about this sort of stuff, and he just like fucking more slings and arrows come my way, you know? It's like, gee, thanks, Dad, for that. He says the same sort of shit to me and starts getting all mad and cussing me, you know? Like when I've suggested going to rehab. Hell, I fucking called a rehab place one time. I almost fucking checked in. I was just sitting there thinking about it, thinking, you know, as crazy as the world is now, right? I really thought that at any moment there could be like some invasion or some kind of weird shit, right? You go into a rehab, like you can't even have like a pocket knife. I don't even think they want to let you have your phone, you know? Like, it's like, you know, checking yourself into a, you know, potentially like a prison type of situation, you know? And you're gonna be like surrounded by like probably a bunch of people, you know, and it's all like, you know, everything's all lumped together. So, you know, guy with a little bit of a drinking problem is lumped together with the guy that's, methed out as fuck and wants to stab everybody, you know. Hell, you'll be sharing a room with, you know, some guy with a tatted up face that, you know, been missing teeth, that's been doing meth for the last 30, right? Yes, he will be demon possessed, and you'll be sharing a bunk with him. Here you go. Not like, yeah, this should help you to have a calm and relax. I mean, you know, unless you can fucking, you know, like some rich fucker and check into the Betty Ford clinic or some shit, right? It's like, hey, look, a beautiful garden. Check out the birds. Could we watch the ducks swim by in the pond? Yeah, right? You go in one of these other places for like poor people, it's like fucking Nurse Ratched, you know, One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest type of situation. Probably, you know. White walls, uncomfortable fluorescent lighting, you know. Nurse Ratched uniforms everywhere. Yes, we're here to help you. Take your pills now. Come on, Chief. Come on, Big Chief. Get that shit out of there. Oh, man. I don't know, man. Well, I mean, and the same thing goes for, like, psychiatrists and stuff, right? You have the psychiatrist, like, you know, you ever watch Monk? You know, you've got the guy, he's got the babbling brook sound, he's, you know, looks, you know, fairly peaceful, got a sweater on, he's concerned, speaks calmly to you. And then you've got the guy, like, you know, the guy in the white coat that's very important and knows everything, and he's going to, Yes, I think what you need is to have your brain removed and electrocuted. You know? Yes, we will help you, son. I'm going to strap you into a chair and electrocute you in the head. We're going to plant electrodes in your brain and, you know. Ah. Yeah, see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a roll of the dice, right? Yeah, you're not likely to, you have to, get real lucky or something to run into a, Robin Williams from Good Will Hunting type of thing, you know? Oh, hang on. I mean, it's just, it's hard, because, I mean, the whole fabric of society, especially when you're a guy, right? You're a man. You're expected to carry the weight of the world on your back and be perfectly fine with that. Or you're not a man. You're worthless and lazy and useless. Fuck you. Yeah, piece of shit. What's wrong with you? Look at, be a man like me. I'm cool. I'm tough. Look at me. Yeah. Look at my big truck. Yeah. Just, you know what? There's just so much of this culture. And like the boomers, man, especially, they don't fucking get it. Like 20 years ago, okay? This is just talking about 20 years ago. Talking about just, this is something I know for a fact because there was a sign on the side of this building 20 years ago, right? That said what the cost was here, right? And I know what minimum wage, I don't know, something like $8 or something back then, about that, right? Around here, anyways, right? And like back then, even with the $8, it's like you could work say a part-time job, right? Even just at minimum wage, 20 hours a week or something, and the rent was like $100 a month or some shit on a place like this and other places. So like your and your other bills, I mean, and you'd make close to $700 like just part time or whatever, minimum wage somewhere, pumping gas or flipping burgers or whatever, right? So like every month you're stacking more and more money in savings if you're not blowing it all on shit, right? At that point, right? And, it's like a tiny portion of your income back then, even making minimum wage part time to pay your fucking rent or something, right? And now it's like I could make, twice that, 4 times that or something, and it's almost every penny I made goes to the fucking bills. That's the difference. Work like, part time, about half the time. And, and you're making enough to like 1 month fucking pay is like enough to pay your bills for 4, 5, 6 months or something. Work for like 2 months part time. And your entire year's worth of rent is already fucking paid, right? Or whatever. And you could fucking find the houses for way cheaper. But, I mean, this is 20 years ago. 20 years ago, the inflation went crazy, especially on the housing and rent markets and stuff. And like somewhere like around 1998 or something. So by the time 2000 and 2001 came around, it was already like fucking 10 times what it was just a few years earlier, like basically. Yeah. That seems to have gone unnoticed by most people. It's true, I'm sorry. I don't know. I just feel like I mean, I was gonna kind of switch up the analogy because I feel like I said, like if I could just a healthier environment, different type of people, and a place that is more natural and decent. If I just have some damn peace of mind for a while and I have to deal with all the crazy shit, then within like a month or two, I would be chill. I'd be ready to go out and deal with the shit again, at least for a while. Need to fucking decompress, basically. But like, I feel like I'm in a situation where it's like I'm being told to run, run. I don't know. I feel like like a deer with a broken leg that just has to run and run and run on a broken leg while a bunch of predators are like fucking chasing it, hunting it. Like being chased by a pack of wolves or something. Just like, can't stop, gotta run, fucking broken leg, fucking, fuck. It's just like, you can't fucking just keep doing this. I need to fucking chill, I need to, chill, need to take a drink of water, maybe a nap, eat some grass, like, whatever, right? But, my leg, heal up, like that's, yeah. Except the fucking, the psychological shit can seem more debilitating than the physical shit, I think. I mean, in a lot of ways. But, I mean, people don't want to acknowledge that, but, yeah. I mean, I've kept going and worked, for a couple months with, like, bones broken my foot and a fucked up ankle. I just walked around on it. I was carrying shit upstairs and stuff, and all this shit on a broken foot and a fucked up ankle. I did that for, like, that went on for, like, a month or two. It ended up healing anyways, luckily, but, I mean, I was... I've had all kinds of issues, like... And that... like, that sort of thing was, like, nothing compared to the psychological shit, the spiritual shit, I say the spiritual shit, Did I mention that like when I went to the bank to deposit money, like deposit what I had left on the card that I money I earned making deliveries, right? And like when you add that together with what was in the bank, it adds up to like 666. Shit. Which is, yeah, you know, I mean, how many times does something like that have to happen before it ceases to be coincidence? You know what I mean? Because a lot has, many times, many, shit like that, right? And like all the signs are around that's, what's going on pretty much. It's what's been going on. You pray and pray and pray or whatever about it, and then, I'm in an internal conflict with that sort of shit, because you can't help but think, what kind of God would allow this shit to, this world to be this fucking messed up, for one thing, and there's a lot of stuff in the book that's kind of too, If you try to ask a priest or something about any of these questions, they'll be like, well, according to Matthew chapter 7, it says here, and it's like, you just have to have faith, like, oh, because that's you, oh, well, now it all makes sense then. Like, no, it fucking doesn't. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. If you're like, hey, do you think blood sacrifice is good? Like, yeah, blood sacrifice is wonderful. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's just. Like, do you think it's fair that people who didn't eat the fruit of the tree that live 1,000 or multi thousands of years later be punished for the actions of complete strangers thousands of years ago? You're like, well, you see, we sinned against God because well, the original sin that passed down to like who passed down the original sin? Oh, right, God. Okay. Sons of the Father shall be passed down for generations, and unto 7 generations or some shit like that, right? And then so on and so forth, right? Well, I mean, think about it. If the sins of the father are passed down as a curse from God for 7 generations, then the 7th generation guy is still cursed to sin. So therefore he sins and passes on the curse for the next 7 generations. So it's perpetual, non-ending fucking... Yeah. Like if some guy sinned, 1,000 years ago, then we're bad sinners, You see what I'm saying? Like that's... Then those are the rules. I don't make them, Like, I have some issue with that sort of trying to, find peace and solace in that. Even though I'm like in a world that's clearly got like a lot of satanic dark shit going on, it's like, when the alternative is like crazy too. It's like, what? Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes that whole spiritual thing almost feels like King Kong versus Godzilla or something, And you're just some, villager that they both want to eat. They're fighting over you, but they both want to eat you. Kind of how it feels sometimes. I don't know. You're supposed to be like, I'm rooting for this one to eat me. Like, no, I want that one to eat me. Oh. Argue. Like we have a fucking choice in the matter, right? I don't know. Would you rather be eaten by a giant gorilla, or a giant fire-breathing, dragon creature? Yeah. Ah. I don't know. That's just kind of how the whole thing like kind of looks, you know. It is, but I still, of course, I still end up like praying to God, like help, you know, just because you know, desperate times, desperate measure. It's like, and there's clearly like some serious like dark shit like messing with me, right? And I have to believe, or I have to like try to believe in order to have any like hope that there, you know, that the way it's the book portrays things and the ministers portray things is bullshit, and that there's actually a good, you know, righteous, loving, you know, God or whatever. Like, no, see, they'll tell you that, and then they'll tell you that he, you know, if you don't kneel and bow and pray and beg and scrape and so on, that'll burn you alive for eternity because he loves you, right? I'm like, oh, okay. And you know, you're ultimately, you know, the second you're born, you're a bad sinner. How dare you? You're just there, you know, and you're just like a baby. Hey, mama, you know, bad sinner, right? I don't know, man. I feel like, you know, that in this place, like we fell into the bog of eternal stench. You know, I don't know if you've seen what is it, the labyrinth? Yeah, you know, Hoggle or whatever falls into the bog of eternal stench or whatever. I feel like we're just like about up to our eyeballs in the bog of eternal stench, and we're being judged as unworthy because we are unclean, you know, or whatever, right? It's like, well, yeah, who can put us here, right? Going to tie you up in a burning building, and if you get burned, you are a sinner, you know. Thou shalt not inhale smoke. Thou shalt not be touched by flame. You know, like oh man. I mean, seriously, you know, you're born into a world like, and especially as a man, right? But this, you know, women have a lot of trauma and crap that they gotta deal with too. You know, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, it's just, and all the other, you know, magical special gender people or whatever, you know, they definitely went through a lot of shit. I guarantee you that. You know. Yeah, I agree. You know, a lot of the difference between people who get, you know, really pull themselves together and like, who, you know, don't have, it's I don't know, dude. I guess I get the idea, you know, trying to want to be strength through adversity and all this kind of, right? It just, I don't know, man. I think a lot of that stuff is just like crazy talk that perpetuates a shitty fucking environment for us to live in, honestly. I mean, people turn a blind eye to what's going on in the world, you know, and to how screwed up and wrong it all is, and I don't see how it could possibly not bite us in the ass as like a whole, like all of us, you know, we're fucking. Yeah, this dude Jeremy McKenzie podcast I listened to, he talked about, you know, he finally said something, on a bit of a rant about, like, you know, the boomers and telling people just pick yourself up by your bootstraps and everything. Like, he kind of laid out, like, the reality, you know, of how blind, you know, that sort of shit is, right? The mentality. I I just gotta be honest. I feel I really have felt like I can't do this. Like, this is just beyond me. I need help. You know, I do. I need help. I don't know what fuck I'm gonna do. Like, having psychological issues. You know, you want to say it's all psychological or whatever. Having whether it's spiritual or psychological, the truth of the matter is that there's pretty much almost no one that you can go to in reality that's going to acknowledge the fucking, you know, causes, or that your problem is even real. So where do you go, you know? You know, if you're stressed out, if you're worried, if you're depressed, you know, because you have a, you know, stressful situation in your life, or you've lost a loved one, or, you know, whatever the heck, right? Well, it's just, you have a psychological disorder, you know. If you know, see how, you know, crazy the world is, and you recognize it, and you say it, then you're, you know, you have a psychological disorder, you know. If you say the sky is blue, they say you're crazy, you know. Basically, here's some pills. You know, convince yourself that the sky is not blue, right? Or whatever. Join us in our delusional way of thinking about things. I don't know. That's kind of how I see it. But no, I mean, I feel like, yeah, I feel like a, yeah, like a, I mean, yeah, there's all these fancy stories of people pushing through adversity, and, you know, and it's neat and all that, but, like, everybody has a, you know, a unique situation, and some people don't understand a lot of them, you know. You can't illustrate anything, you can't explain it to anyone because they just don't get it. They, yeah, unless they've been there, you know. And even if they have been there in some sort of way and they get some what you're saying, they don't get, you know, everything, because their situation is, you know, unique and a little different, you know. It's not, well, like, take a rich, you know, rich dude versus a poor dude, right? Rich guy has addiction problem, checks into the Betty Ford clinic, you know, sits by the pond and feeds the ducks, and maybe does some gardening in the back, and, you know, whatever, right? Peaceful, you know, zen sort of environment, everything's chill, right? The best, you know, therapist and all, you know, all this, right? vocational or whatever, right? You know, poor guy tries to go get help, ends up Nurse Ratchet, you know? Clinical, cold Nurse Ratchet type of shit, right? Uh, Rich guy wants to do it himself. He goes and, you know, rents a cabin in the woods or goes and visits a Zen monastery or something, or he goes to a seminar. Or let's say, same thing with like if it was a spiritual thing, right? A poor guy has some spiritual problem. Well, the ministers around uh, don't understand or aren't helpful. There's some guy 2,000 fucking miles away that might. They can't go to your freaking church revival meeting to go see you because they can't afford it. The rich guy can. You know? Rich guy can go see Tony Robbins and, you know, Owen from Real Social Dynamics, and they can, you know, all those guys, right? Poor guy can't afford that shit, can't go there, you know? No, it's the same with everything, you know? Rich people are able to do all these things that they wanted, you know, that are fulfilling in their lives, that fill them with some, you know, peace and a sense of purpose and fulfillment and, you know, some you know, comfort and joy, you know, right? There's so many instances of this sort of shit, you know, it's true, that's just the way it is, it's the way it is in the fucking world, right? You know, I don't know, like say you're into vaping, the vape culture and all that kind of stuff, right? And they have, you know, conferences and big, you know, get-togethers where all the people that like to vape hang out and cloud chucking contest. You can't go to that because you can't fucking afford to. Some dude that's got money, they just hop on an airplane. I'm gonna check into a motel and they, hey, maybe I'll go see the sights and then I'll go check out the you know, or you're into comics or whatever, you know, and people with a lot of money and they just, hey, let's go to Comic Con, let's go to the other Comic Con over here, you know, or whatever, right? Poor guy can't do that. Doesn't get to ever, you know, pretty much, right? You know, rich guy buys a, you know, brand new Blu-ray set and a big screen TV to watch the new movie that just came out. You know, poor guy, you know, if, you know, does it all legal like, gotta wait for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years or something after it came out before it's like in the bargain bin for $5, or you can pick up a used one from fucking thrift store, you know. And like the divide is so much wider than it used to be because you didn't have to be a rich person to go have a life, to have things to do and places that you can go and so on and so forth in society. And, back, even 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50, the further back you go, the better it was for everybody. Nowadays, you're either you're there's not a whole hell of a lot in between the guy with the big house and the acres of land and the nice pickup truck and the guy who's sleeping in their car in a parking lot, or sleeping in a park somewhere, cracked out of his mind because he can't fucking stand to live that way without being cracked out of his fucking mind or whatever. It's like huge gap, enormous gap. No, really. I mean, here in the U.S., from the how I figured it, just to have just to do better than barely scraping by, and to be able to actually have any savings, and maybe be able to so on, build up your history and your credit score, and all this kind of shit, right? To be able to have a chance of one day you get a house, or whatever the hell, like, for the most part, like, either you could stumble in and get lucky or something, or I mean, you got to be making like at least $4,000 to $5,000 a month, basically. Which, I mean, damn it, I should always have some kind of calculator around other than the phone, because I mean, you do the math yourself. Like, it's most. I mean, I don't even think fucking nurses. I mean, no, I'm just saying that's realistic, dude. That's realistic with the cost of fucking rent and so on and so forth. And it's not easy to just walk in and get a mortgage or any of that sort of shit. It's it's rough. I don't know, dude. I feel like, yeah. I mean, the talk about mental health, men's mental health or whatever. I mean, and I know I can't. I'm not the only person that feels this way. It feels like yeah, I'm being forced to keep running on a broken leg or something. And if I don't find time to stop and rest and get away from it all, then well, then the leg's never gonna heal. Probably gonna have it amputated or some shit, right? But it's like, or but psychologically, like, what are you gonna amputate, right? Your sanity, right? That's like worse than that, honestly. It's like you just got people screaming at you, "Go, fucker, do it! Yeah, yeah!" Nah, dude, it's like this whole place is just set up to like break you and tear you apart, basically. Pavlovian conditioning. And if you're not so easily broken, then you cannot fucking function in society. You know? If you're somebody who's like got a natural resistance to being like broken, then although society's not meant for you, it's meant for everybody else that's, docile and obedient, and that, can be convinced of whatever they're told is, people that buy the line, hook, line, and sinker. And you see through the bullshit of society, and you see really the truth of what this is and what's going on here, basically, in a lot of ways. Or you see more of, you're bothered by things, then it feels impossible to function here. You've got to be okay with this shit to be okay with this shit. And if you're not, you're just not. How are you going to get okay with it? The only way to do that really is to lie to yourself and somehow be able to convince yourself that the lie is true so that you can feel better about things and go about your life. And it seems like a whole lot of people are able to do that, I guess. And that's called mental health. That's called sanity. To be able to just convincingly lie to yourself and believe it, or be lied to and believe somebody else's bullshit or whatever, right? That's paying too much attention to details and patterns and stuff. Pattern recognition and stuff is one of the most terrible things you could be born with in this world, man. To be born with pattern, the ability to recognize patterns and enough of a memory to be able to remember like ways, the ability to not be fooled over and over again is detrimental to your health in this society. Because to survive, to get by, to thrive, to get ahead in this society, you have to buy into a bunch of bullshit and believe it. Or you're just going to be fucking miserable all the time. That's pretty much, Or you got to have some, like, good. Or, if you're, some people are lucky, some people maybe don't. Like, maybe you have, like, a healthy environment, right? Where the fuck's that healthy environment, right? You got a bunch of money, you can get a healthy environment, right? I mean, that's the thing, dude. They tell you, and like, you have, traumas and psychological stuff, dealing with narcissists, whatever the hell it is, right? You talk, the psychiatrist will tell you, or the same thing if you have some kind of addiction problem. The addiction treatment specialist will tell you the same thing. They'll all say, hey, you've got to get into a healthy environment with supportive people, and people that aren't abusive to you, and you've got to takes time to heal up from trauma and from or addiction or whatever. You've got to get out of that environment. You can't. If you're a crackhead, you're not going to kick the habit if you're living in a crack house. Not likely. It's probably not going to be too easy to quit being an alcoholic if you work at a bar, or whatever, right? Or if you're like hanging out, you work at a liquor store, quit drinking. I'm gonna quit drinking. I work here at the liquor store with booze all day. Yeah, right. No, like that's just it's kind of common sense though. I mean, and they all say the same thing. But when you don't have the money to change your environment, and you don't have the damn good luck to find your tribe, so to speak, to find support, to be around, like a healthy environment with supportive people, and all that kind of shit, or whatever, or to even just be able to be by yourself for a while and have an extended period of time where you can just get your head together. It's like when you don't have that because you don't have the resources to have that, it's fun. I remember seeing this old movie years ago. It's like Tupac was in it. There's these two guys that are like crackheads or whatever, and Tupac was playing one of the crackheads, right? And they wanted to, kick their addiction because they were like, this shit's gonna kill us. We gotta, right? And they couldn't get any fucking help from the, hospital. They tried walking, tried asking doctors, rehab, just nobody would fucking help them. So they end up like coming up with a plan to like stab each other so that they could go into the hospital with a bleeding wound because that was the only way that they could get help. You know, and that's really how bad it seems. Honestly, for people who don't have the financial resources, really. To get the some kind of quality help. There's a lot of help out there, if you want to call it that. A lot of stuff posing as help, but only a little, fairly small percentage of it is actually real help. The rest of it is like basically added trauma and abuse and like manipulation and you know Ponzi scheme kind of shit. It's. No, I mean that's the thing. If you have like some kind of psychological underlying psychological issues, if you want to call it that, you're not a conformist to the way to the bored fucking hive mind of the rest of the people or whatever, then you will be assimilated or die. Basically, is kind of the way of the world, man. Resistance is futile. Okay. I mean, no matter what kind of freaking thing you think is a healthy thing that helps, even if you believe it's like psychoactive, ayahuasca trip with a shaman or something like that. Whatever. I've heard people say that. You get right. Or ibogaine treatment. The medical professional or like If you ain't fucking rich, like, you can't afford to do that shit. You're pretty fucking rich. Yeah. Rich compared to, like, the poor people, yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of people out there offering up, like, solutions. Oh, and, oh, here's how you get better. Here's how you improve your life and all this kind of, right, for the most part, right? But I mean, the solutions are fairly universal. You gotta get into a better environment. You gotta take the time to, improve. Like, it takes. I mean, how are you supposed to, like, heal up from, emotional and psychological trauma and abuse and stuff if you're still in an abusive fucking situation, right? Or if you're like have massive, anxiety out and you're just massive sensory overload. You just have to keep going out there and doing it, dealing with it every day. Like, it builds up and it builds up. Well, it just becomes too much. It's too much weight to carry. It's too much of a burden. It's too heavy, you know? You want to fuck out, you know? And alcohol's a bitch because, like, I think, honestly, I think that now this is just kind of a personal opinion. I mean, there's a lot of nasty drugs that are real bad, but in some ways, like, to kick the habit of alcohol is one of the most difficult fucking things, probably, because, I mean, because it's everywhere. You can't go shopping and buy water or bread without running into a, pyramid of beer to the sky and a 10,000 gallons of wine and, all this shit in your face. And the booze is it's just everywhere. Can't go get a soda or buy an energy drink or whatever without running into it. It's just it's everywhere. It is ever present. It is omnipresent. You know, alcohol is the, what is it? Yeah, alcohol is kind of omnipresent pretty much. It's not like drugs where you have to go seek out a drug dealer or something and deal with some really uncomfortable situation to deal with it, right? I managed to pretty much quit weed, but like if I had tried to quit, like if they'd had all these pot shops everywhere and I was like living in town and just like 5 or 6 weed shops within walking distance and to walk past or drive past them every fucking day or something, back when I was a stoner, I don't think I would have ever fucking quit, dude. And I mean, I slip up every now and then, usually if I drink too much and other people are kind of, peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure. But I don't slip up too much. I mean, I take a toke or two or something, and that's like, nope, done. That should have done that in the first place. Just kind of caving to peer pressure. I mean, that's the way it is with like stoners, man. You'd be like, nah, you gotta stay away from weed. It's bad for me. It does bad. And it was, we want, I don't give a shit if they smoke a fucking bowl or not. whatever, right? But they want to pass it around. It's just a fucking thing, dude. I don't know. Psychological, like, but yeah, psychological trauma. Just dealing with it. It just feels like it's like an injury for which there is no help for the poor. In reality, no real help. Just a lot of fake shit. Because they don't really give a shit. You're poor. It's like, fuck you, basically. They in it for the money, you know. They'll take those subsidies and buy themselves a new car, pay for their new pool or whatever, but they ain't interested in really helping. They like the power trip and the money when they're like on that level. But if they're making a bunch more money off some like rich person or whatever, like they're still in it for the money, but they also feel like indebted for the amount of money they're getting. Like they owe you a better service or something. And they got to do a really good job so they don't lose that job and get replaced with somebody better. Yeah, Nurse Ratchet would get fired in those places. Well, because it's the same with anything. It's like almost like it's like a service industry kind of thing. It's like a guy with no money walks into a store, is like, "Hey, I want to ask you about this thing over here." The fucking people working at the store just ignore you and don't give a fuck, right? If you're some like rich dude that like, yes, sir, right away, sir. I can show you everything. Here, let me tell you about how you want more detail. Hold on, I can look everything up. I can tell you anything you want to know. They're right there for you. It's just the way it is. It's the same way with all the like, we're gonna help you kind of shit. It's the same sort of thing, and that sort of thing. When it comes to like addiction medicine, when it comes to psychiatry, whatever, it's the same thing basically. It's like, they only give a fuck as far as the dollars in their pocket fucking get them to give a fuck. That's just the reality, like, for the most part. Or, I'm not saying there's not real good people that help out. I'm just saying they're independent. They're out there. They're doing their own thing. Basically, they're not getting subsidized or fucking paid for it unless. Well, some of them, I mean, the ones that are doing good things that are getting paid for it, they're getting paid a lot. They're the ones that are good at it. They get fucking paid a lot. They make the big bucks. So there's a lot of incentive for them to do it, right? But then there's people that just are good, that are probably even better, that just do it of their own accord because they're just really good people. But those exist. They're out there. But, few and far between, rare and hard to find. I mean, I definitely think I probably have like Asperger's or something as one of the things that I deal with. I'm disturbed by, random noises, engine revving, doors slamming, whatever, right? Uh, and movement around me, like, feel like I'm always on guard, like I'm always, I don't know, I kind of feel like, yeah, it's like, I guess it's kind of also like a PTSD sort of a thing to just be like, where you just feel like you're, no matter where you are, you, like, for the most part, if you're somewhere with a bunch of people around, a bunch of movement going on around you, you feel like you're in a fucking war zone or something, you feel, feel like you're, crouched in the bush, hiding from a patrol of fucking Viet Cong or something, or like you're hiding behind a wall by yourself and there's like a bunch of Taliban, walking around the corner. You're like, oh shit, oh shit. Out of ammo, all that. Just like, uh, I mean, yeah, it really stresses me out. And then other things, I mean, some things, a lot of things kind of build up that sort of like hurt my feelings too, right? So that's a thing too. That gets me down, puts me in a shittier mood, and leads to, more, returning or continuing depression or whatever. These things, you have to worry about this and that and the other thing. There's too many things, too steady and constant. Too many factors, too many things to, too much shit on my plate. I can't deal. It's hard. I mean, that's the thing. It's like things that I have to do where I just freeze up and I can't do it. I just can't fucking do it. And there's things that I shouldn't do, like drinking and stuff, that at the times I just can't help myself. The impulse is too strong, or you know, it just it's like a self medication. Just feel either what usually gets like a lot of times it's the brain fog that gets me. Like I just want the brain fog to go away, or the feeling like start to get dizzy or brain fog or just whatever, right? Or I just get sometimes it's because I get like really irritated and hurt, really, hurt feelings, depressed, and just like I don't know, like days I go out to work and I'm not making hardly any fucking money for so long, and all the offers are so insulting. It's like somebody's spitting in my face over and over, basically. Yeah, I carry fucking 300 pounds of grocery to my third floor apartment for fucking $5, $10, whatever. While you piss away your own gas, and I'm not gonna tip you anything. Fuck you, and it's just like that shit over and over and over. It's like, God damn it. Then the fucking bills coming due, closer and closer. Fucking time drawing nearer to potential homelessness or whatever. Fuck. And then you gotta stack on top all these other things, like, oh, okay, so Russia wants to nuke us. Oh, okay, that's, and then just something new every day. on that level, just crazy, you know. It's too much fucking stress to just continue to endure nonstop. Gotta stop, chill, rest. I need a vacation, basically. My dad acts like, part of my life, because I didn't work for years, he acts like that was some kind of vacation or something. No, dude, things are so fucking screwed up around me that, like, I didn't even want to go out of the house. I didn't even want to leave the fucking house. And like, the drama and the bullshit would find its way and would fucking come up, knocking on the fucking door, or would just start up outside, up front of the house. Like, most of the time I couldn't get away from it, long enough to get my head right, And the times when there was like a lapse where the shit wasn't going on, or I'd get like a month or 2 or 3 or whatever away from it, and it coincided with me, to better myself or whatever, then I would. Well, then I'd be alright, and I'd be more able to deal with the shit again for a while. It's like combat fatigue, PTSD, kind of shit, basically. It's like, you fucking take this shit anymore, Just gets so. I mean, really, like today, like I tried to make myself go out and work. Did all the things to get ready, got myself out the door, and headed over there. Just stopping off to get an energy drink and stuff was highly stressful for me. The parking lot was so full of people, and people walking around everywhere. Fucking druggies and rude people, all these people driving through. Or like I'm playing fucking Frogger, just trying to get from my car to the fucking front door of the store to get my fucking tea and my energy drink. That's that, and then I'm gonna have to park somewhere for a while and just sit there thinking or whatever. And before long, there's like people fucking gathering, like staring at me and shit. Fuck are these people staring at me? Sorry. I don't know, man. I don't exactly know what to do. I just felt so overwhelmed with all this shit. But like when you're overwhelmed, you're overstressed, not handling the trauma and the stress and all this shit so well, other people just treat you like you're fucking shit. I don't know. I can't tell you how many times, like when I walked into that store, there's like a nice lady behind the counter, and I just had, I couldn't shake this like strong feeling, like I just wanted to tell her everything that I was feeling and going through. Honestly, like I just wanted to like say something to get things off my chest. Like when you go into a store, like, oh, how you doing? I just want to. Nowadays, I usually, try to just keep it to myself, like, oh, I'm doing. How's it going? Oh, it's going. Life's like a freight train just running my ass over again and again and again. I don't know, man. I mean, that's the thing when you're dealing with stuff with trauma and with sorrow and stress and so on and so forth. It's like everybody will ask you how you doing, but nobody really cares to hear the answer. Like, whoa, buddy, too much information. Like, oh, that's too bad. No, that's like the best thing. Like somebody will even listen for a minute and then go, "Oh, that's too bad" or something, right? On the other hand, like you got a bunch of people, the suck it up buttercup types. They're like, just get over it. I don't know. Just a lot of stuff on my mind and a lot of stuff on my heart, my soul, weighing me down. It hurts and it stresses me out and it's driving me mad and it making, a lot of life just unbearable. And it's hard to go out there and, function in society the way it is. I mean, it's crazy now. It's so much different. I mean, it's like, I don't know if I can come up with some kind of analogy where, right, like, I don't know. It's like, imagine you're, like, part of what I deal with is just like the difference between, I mean, there was traumatic stuff and like messed up shit in my childhood and, you know, earlier days, but I mean, just the changes to the environment, the world that I'm in, and the area that I live in, and all this kind of shit. It's like, and I mean, I guess some people are better at adapting to shit like that, but like, it's just like, I don't know. What I feel like a lot of the time, you know, you know how your dogs react on the 4th of July, everyone's shooting off fireworks, and your dogs are like, oh shit, running around like, oh god, there's a fucking war going on, ah! You know? Imagine how your dog would feel if like that was happening every single day for years. And I mean, would they get used to it, or would they just be fucking stressed the hell out? You know, and every time a noise happens, like, oh shit, just get startled over. I'm just being startled over and 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 over, years and years and years and years. You know, like what that would do to you. I mean, really, I see these videos of people like, you know, rescuing some dog or something. It's like some dog that's been like abused and you know, mangy out on the street or whatever, and people come up that are actually gonna like try, you know, hook him up with a good home and rehabilitate him and all this kind of right. These videos like that, right? And the dog is just terrified. Oh my god, ah! You know, just from all the trauma that they've been through and all this that they've had to deal with. You know, sometimes a person reaches their hand out, it's not to pet him, it's to hit him, or you know, they're gonna start screaming at them, or you know, kick them or something, right? Or you just get so accustomed to that like you don't know how to react to positive. That's one thing, right? That mustard. Mm. I don't know what the heck. It's just it's hard to deal with all this shit, you know, all this shit in my head and my emotions and just and the spiritual shit. It's all just stacked together on me, man. I got all these like traumatic events that have happened throughout my life that carry with me and heartbreaking loss and like PTSD over shit and just man, these like panic attacks. Sometimes like prolonged panic attacks are just fucking horrible. And I mean, the reason why, one of the reasons why I think, the Asperger's is probably one of the things I'm dealing with is a number of, well, I mean, I've listened to people with Asperger's, and I've, like, there was this kid, some genius kid with Asperger's and stuff, gave a speech or whatever, and it's like, kid fucking sound just like me when I was his age, like. I don't want to watch that shit. Hold on a second, sorry. I mean, I need to make money. If I was in better, if I was in a better sort of mood and like more adaptable to it, I would be out there doing it, you know? Of course, at this point, there's only like maybe an hour or less of fucking daylight left, because it's like, well, you know how daylight savings time is. It saves time for the people that get up ridiculously early to, I mean, it lets them have more light, but anyone who works later is like, or, whatever. But like the sort of shit I do, like, I mean, if you're making deliveries and stuff, daylight savings time fucks you. It robs you of an hour of daylight, basically. If you try to, I mean, for the most part, a lot of like the delivery shit, right? It's well, I mean, the best hours a lot of the time is like probably from like 5 to like 10 o'clock, really. But it's like dark then, unless it's summertime. And like a clear sky and a full moon might be good enough. Well, I mean, I guess we have full moons now, like every few days or some shit at this point, right? Because we're in the fucking twilight zone. That's not stressful at all, being in the fucking twilight zone. Kind of hell realm twilight zone. I mean, this is my gripe with like the whole psychiatry thing and things being labeled as psychiatric conditions is that. Well, I mean, like some veteran that's been in a war, right? They're exposed to an environment for years where there's bullets flying past their head, and if they hear a click, it might be a guy behind them with a gun ready to blow their head off, and if they hear a certain noise, whatever, right? It's like always got to watch your back, always got to look out. There's always it's like bullets flying, bombs blowing up around them, people dying, and just like the trauma of that, right? but it was a real experience. And then that is to be traumatized by that experience, for that to not rest well with you, and for you to not be able to easily just readjust and adapt to like a I mean, what the hell is a normal environment, right? They call this a normal environment. This is not a normal environment, you know. I mean, the way people live their lives. You ever hear the idea of like ancestral memory, or the 12th monkey, or type of thing, or whatever, 100th, whatever. I mean, for the way that the world is now is vastly different from the way people lived their lives for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, up until really, I mean, and the way it is like really like now, this is like, I mean, the way it is like right now is vastly different from the way it was even in like the 80s and 90s, or the early 2000s. It's like a whole other world from even that, let alone the centuries and centuries before, when people lived in like a farmhouse and a bunch of acres, and commune with nature and grew a garden, and hung out with their families and got along for the most part, and had community around, supportive, and all this kind of shit. Like, that's just not there anymore. And then on top of that, you got all this crazy shit. I mean, I really wonder how somebody like Charles Ingalls would do. I mean, that guy, he put up with a lot of adversity. He was real tough, you know. But, like, if you took that guy and put him in, like, his prime or something, right? Popped him in a freaking time machine to now and showed him what was going on in the world. And, or honestly, even just, like, take him to, like, any city, and see the traffic flying down the street everywhere. Like, he would probably be so freaked out by that, he'd never get used to it, And see airplane flying overhead. Like, what the fuck is that? Ah! A great beast in the sky approaches! Like, a chariot with wings! See freaking cars flying past fucking, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. Zoom, 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 zoom. What the? You're right. People walking down this, Do you see him trying to get a job like McDonald's or pumping gas and stuff? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe. I mean, he was a real tough dude, put up with a lot in his day, but like, I think he might end up in a nut house or something, like, from his reaction to like even some of the most basic stuff here. Do you imagine what it would be like to like be able to lay on the grass, look up at the sky, never see or hear a plane flying overhead, never hear the engines zooming, revving, and cars flying past, or the sounds of people shouting at each other, and so on and so. Like, can you imagine? I mean, the stuff that I mean, seriously, like the stuff and just the natural instinct of a man, like even like somebody who lived on the frontier where there was like maybe there's like bands of Indians running around wanting to scalp people, or there's like they went through the Civil War or something. You brought somebody like that into the modern age, even that had been through that kind of shit. Like this shit would freak them right the hell out, man. Like if they heard a fucking loud noise or something, engine revving or stereo booming or somebody shouting or something like that. Like they'd be reaching for their hip, fucking looking around, like, what the fuck is that? Right? And we got like, hundreds, thousands of generations or whatever of ancestors, ancestral memory or something built up inside of us in our spirit or whatever, right? Telling us that this shit is wrong. Like, what the, that this, danger, danger, Will Robinson. If you have the natural human instinct and that ancestral memory, then this shit is fucking freakish. You know? Freaky as all hell, dude. I mean, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are kind of walking around in a daze. They don't, it's like they don't have that or something. They don't have that basic, like, instinct that pops up in them or something, or they're able to, they, I don't put it to sleep or something, I guess. I mean, really, if you were a bad guy or something, wanted to, like, prey on the innocent or the people that ain't paying attention, like a whole lot of people, like, you could just sneak right up and whack them on the head. They wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't even have to be that sneaky. Just walk up and bonk, bonk. Because people aren't paying attention. Like, a lot of people are just it's like got like tunnel vision, from, they're just kind of walking around like in a trance or something. Not everybody. I'm not saying it's everybody. There's more number of people that are kind of somewhat aware and paying, but they're freaked out, but they don't know what, like, most of them don't know what it is, you know. You gotta go read this. Abraham Lincoln wrote an article about the danger of trains and stuff, right? You gotta go. You gotta read that. Imagine getting him in a car, or just like setting him next to a highway or something, or road. Like, he would be fucking terrified. Like, yeah, that was our freaking president. He would be fucking like pissing his pants or something at the sight of that shit, dude. Yeah. I mean, think about it. We just take a lot of things for granted that, and a lot of people, like, blocked out that instincts to just do all these things that are extremely unnatural, and that, our ancestors would be absolutely terrified to deal with, and just well, I really think, and we had like a lot of, we had a lot of like badass strong people in the past, but honestly, I really think if you brought like some of the most badass people back from the pages of history, from even like the 1800s or something, or whatever, right, or like the early 1900s or whatever, even, and you plop them down in the modern day today, like they would freak the hell out. Like they would not know what to do with this place. They would just be terrified. I think even like a Charles Ingalls type or something, or a Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett, fucking Andrew Jackson, George Washington, like these guys, like I think they would be freaked. Like I don't necessarily think that even like that they would make it. Some of the toughest, tough, smart, brave people, like they would. I think they would have a hard time with this world the way it is now. I really do. People nowadays are adapted to it through like generations of like Pavlovian conditioning and just being raised in this shit. So I think it's normal or something. That's the new normal. No, but it's not normal. Almost nothing about this place is normal, man. No, seriously, like they would. I mean, them like I even think that they would have probably similar reaction to like remote villagers out in the rainforest and stuff. You know, and see like these tribes and shit where like an airplane flies over, they're like shooting arrows at it and shit and trying to throw spears at it, like Sky Demon comes again. Get it? The thing is, though, that is an absolutely natural reaction. to seeing something like that. The reason we don't react that way is because we've been raised in a world where it was normalized and we were told how normal it was, but it's not. It's like insane. It's totally nuts. Like driving, you roll along in your little thin aluminum or metal box or whatever, and doing fucking 50, 55, 65, 70, 80 miles an hour, flying down the road past other people in metal boxes, and who don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. If they're gonna jerk the wheel or fall asleep, or what the hell is gonna happen, right? Just no, I mean really, if you think about it, just driving your car to work or something is every bit as adventurous as jumping out of an airplane with a parachute on your back. Yeah. It's every bit as dangerous. It's probably more dangerous than jumping out of an airplane with a parachute that you didn't pack. Like and the same could be said of like walking into a store with like cars driving past toward the entrance. Like kind of. Well, I don't know. That's iffy, but I mean, still, you don't know what other people are gonna do. If they're paying attention or if they're cracked out or what the fuck. I'm just gonna step in front of this giant metal thing with a dude could just step on the gas and run. Yeah, it's nuts nowadays. And just people, everything's so freaking ridiculously overcrowded and stuff too. Like I mean, like I don't know. So I want to say 25 years ago or something, right? I drove most of the way back from Arizona. I've driven in L.A. and Phoenix and Seattle, Portland back then. And I'm telling you, dude, like the traffic back then in those places is kind of like the way the traffic is even in like all the little small towns around here now. It's it's nuts. Only actually I'd say it's worse even in the little small towns around here. I can't imagine what a fucking nightmare it must be in places like New York and fucking LA and shit nowadays. It's like fucking Death Race or some shit. Need for Speed. Fast and the Furious or some shit. Yeah. I'm always having to take corners too fast without even having time to examine as clearly as I would like to see whether, there's some obstruction or something in the road, like, is there a cat up there? Can I see, like, a person about to walk out from behind a tree? Or, like, because people follow too close, they tailgate me, and they're going too fast to stop. So if I want to make the turn and not get rear-ended by the bastard, I have to just turn too fast, And this has happened. I've turned into parking lots probably. There's been times when it's been so bad, like I had to turn in somewhere, like I end up turning into a parking lot, doing like probably damn near 50 miles an hour, and I'm just having to hit the brakes, shit, because this idiot, behind me is about to run me off the fucking road, and this is like constant type of thing that happens. It's the way it goes, the fucking. Well, I got to my car, people are shouting at each other, about to break into a fist fight next to my car. I had to wait till they're out of the way enough for me to drive around and get out of there before they start trying to, put somebody's head through my fucking car window or something, Then I'm out. I gotta go to the store. There's like some creepy fucking stalker tweaker looking fucks like staring at me or something. I get in the car and there's like fucking some psycho like following way too close, or like, and all this weird shit, signs and symbolism and stuff everywhere. And God help. It's just so. It's just too much. I mean, a lot of ways I could describe this world, Trying to take in information or trying to deal with the shit in the world. It's like everything's just moving way too fast. That's one of the things, everything's moving way too fast. Everything's way too crowded. Everything's way too in your face and moving way too fast, and feels like there's almost nowhere to find any peace or to feel safe, Go out there, it's just like you're jumping out of a plane without a parachute, hoping for the best. I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's like I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's just I can't hardly handle this shit, dude. It's like it's too much, dude. Feels like some kind of fucking sci-fi horror movie I'm stuck in or something. Kind of a lot of the time. You know, I see it, but I can't believe it. Yeah, this place is that's messed up, yeah. How do you say? What do you even say about it? It's just like so screwed up. A lot of people are, you know, deal with a lot of trauma and everything. Everyone just like struggling to push through it. Just I don't know, man. I think other people, you know, some people just don't have, you know, the balance in their life, right? Because they can't afford the balance in their life, or you know, there just aren't the right people around, and they're, you know, don't have a community, you know, support or you know anything like that. They don't have the, you know, peaceful environment to unwind. They don't have any of that shit. You know, so it's just like so, I mean, there's lots of ways that other people deal with stuff. You know, what's fucked up, right? Is like I could be in like the mindset of one of these people you see on YouTube. It's, you know, he's like, I'll be guru types or whatever. People are just telling you, oh yeah, everything's great. You know, if I was in a different environment, you know, like you see some dude like out in his garden in some big backyard or whatever, telling you about how wonderful and peaceful everything is, and because he's not in your shoes. It's like, yeah, I'll bet it would be. Yeah. I'm just so tired. Alright then.